225.
All right, so you said Trent's too heavy.
Let's throw Ty then.
Yeah,
All right, what's gonna throw Ty?
The other guy.
Huh? It's got to be big.
Yeah, I got a guy thrown. I got heavy size. Let's use heavy. This one's heavy.
Alex. Ty.
But you should actually do the same. Austin.
Upward. The thing is, though, I mean, he didn't throw you that far. Like,
Tossed him in the tail and landed on his face.
Like, you know, the catapult, we go straight up, and we're all trying to figure out how far you went.
let's just do the squirrel catapult.
No, it's like the same thing. Like, I got them straight up, you know. I'm trying to see how long I was in the air. Felt like 15 seconds.
It was shorter than 15.
How far is this squirrel catapult launching the squirrel? How fast?
5 feet.
5 feet per second? That ain't fast.
10. No, 5 feet. 356.
Very weak.
You have not obviously been doing these problems at a rate of 256 feet per second. That's acceleration per second. From an initial height of what? Got initial height? Number you want to use? 6 feet, why not? All right, so first part is we'll write an equation. See how many of you guys have actually been doing your homework. There's one. Negative 16 t squared. Plus what? 56t plus 6. All right. Let's do a couple of things with this. First off, let's find off when the squirrel dies. When will the squirrel die? And Christina said that you let the height be 0. Die at 0 feet. What's that? It's when it hits the ground. But if you ever watched any of those squirrel catapults, they don't launch them this far up in the sky. They just sling them across the backyard or something. That's why you got your TIs out, kids. There's a couple different ways of doing this one. One of the things you can do, I think kids have more success with it. I'll show you the other way. But let Y1 be the 0. The thing on the left, put in Y1. And the thing on the right, put on Y2. Kids do have more success with this technique than the other one. I'll show you both techniques. They can both be done in a calculator. Sean, please tell me you're not doing Excel at the same time. If you're sitting there playing on your phone or your laptop, then somebody else can play on Facebook or Tinder or whatever else y'all are playing on in class nowadays. I hope not. You're a minor. Turn your calculators on, kids. I've been telling you that's what you're going to put in Y1, Y2. Y'all just sitting there, mouth breathing. So Happy did that to you, huh?
God, no, I had. Definitely wasn't happy. So y'all just sitting there like you don't know what you're supposed to do. What are you supposed to type into Y1?
Well, you're supposed to type in Y2. Yeah, it ain't that hard. You can clear something out by hitting the clear button. Just make sure you type it incorrect, because like I don't have the 10 minutes. My graph don't look like your graph. Go over there. They skip an X. They use a minus instead of a negative key.
No matter which one.
Yeah, I did it backwards when we put on paper, didn't I? Let me correct that. Sorry. I give others a chance to catch up. But no, it does not matter. But if mine doesn't look like y'all's, things will look a little different when I'm using the cursor. I did it like I said on paper. No, it doesn't. Of course, when you play along, you won't be doing it exactly the same way, but that's okay. Well, let's go over this. We did a little bit of this the other day. How did I tell you to zoom? How did I tell you to zoom? I told you to zoom 6. Always zoom 6 before you make window adjustments, because zoom 6 restores the window default. You're not going to see much on a zoom 6. You're not going to see anything at all. We did in here, I think, you could play around with the window the other day a little bit. My suggestion to kids is to look up before you look right or left. I wouldn't try to do a whole bunch of things at once. Window there, and this is as big as I can make this calculator. It's 4 feet tall. It's right there by the top, right next to Y equals. You'll see it says window. And this thing is shot upward at a rate of 256 feet per second. It's going to go pretty far in the sky, isn't it? Every second that passes, it goes another 256 minus the pull of gravity. So I'm just going to say maybe it's going to go 2,000 feet in the air. I'm going to change Y max 2,000. It won't, but it's going to get up there. Then I'm going to hit graph. You got too close to 1,000.
That looks just like mine, but
Well, that means one of us is wrong.
I pressed the graph before.
I told you to hit zoom 6.
I pressed the graph before I did zoom now. It looks right now.
That's just nature.
Squared.
Oh, you're that one. Every year. No. He's the letter. Not very well.
I already changed mine.
It still looks like it. No, that's right.
Highs and lows, 1,029 days.
That's purple. It's so dead.
Days hail.
You saw like the ground so hard, blood everywhere. That guy's so dead. Yeah, it was like he got ran over by a car. Poor, poor guy.
All right, so has everybody got the graph now they need it to be?
It took about 4 seconds.
Never actually.
We're gonna break into a shed, so I had shot.
All right, now, we haven't found when the squirrel's gonna hit the ground yet, have we?
No.
We don't see it, but you need to look. Right, you guys need to stay with me and get out of your own little world wherever you at. We're gonna look a window. How do we look right? X max. What do you want to change it to? Make up a guess.
I put one.
Let's go with 25. 25 sounds reasonable. So I said X max 25 and I hit the graph button. 25 is reasonable. We see where the squirrel goes up. We see where the squirrel hits the ground, right? Now, do you remember the other day how you find that?
Race.
Second count or second trace. What? It's going to be 5, intersect. Because we put 0 into one of those equations. It's going to tell us the intersection between y equals 0, a horizontal line, and that parabola. Now, you may not see your cursor. It's actually sitting around here in a place where you can't see it. It's hidden on mine, probably is on yours. Just hold that right button until you see the cursor. Oh, it's actually down at the bottom, isn't it? Look along the bottom. If you hold it down long enough, it'll show up. Don't go too far. Pay attention to the x values. My cursor showed up around 15, 16. You know, don't be that kid says, I can't find the cursor and your x value is 150. That happens every year. Pay attention to the numbers. What is it, Sean?
I got some first and second.
Yes, because we're using the intersect feature. It's all part of it. Get your cursor close to where you think the intersection is. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get close to where you think the intersection is. Again, the ones in here that are waiting and baking. We had second, count, 5. And once you get your cursor close, do you remember how many times you press enter? 3 times. Press enter 3 times.
Intersection.
Enter, enter, enter. There's your intersection. Now, some funny things showed up here. The intersections where x is about 16.02 seconds. Anybody's calculator say y is 1e to the negative 10th power? Here it says 0. You know why? Because that is 0.
Why does it say that?
It's the approximation techniques calculators use. Every once in a while they'll glitch. Like you might see 11.9997, that's 12. But things like that, that says that we have an exponent to the negative 10th power. Aren't you all in chemistry? Doing scientific notation? There's 9 zeros before that number. It's basically what? 0. But I'm saying that, and they give a quiz, somebody will write that down on a piece of paper. They'll write down 1e negative 10. That's a 0, kids. That's where y is 0. So about 16.02 seconds. So the time of death equals 16.02 seconds. Now I told you I'd show you another way to do this. You don't have to use the intersect feature. I'm going to go back to y equals. And this only works on zeros. I'm going to clear out that 0. So I cleared the 0 out. Okay? If you're not clearing out the 0, well, it won't be a problem, but I cleared it out. I'm just going to hit the graph button because I've already got the window the way I want it. We are literally finding a 0. We're finding out where y is 0. That's ground level. What you can do is you can hit that second trace button again. And what is function number 2? 0. So we're just going to arrow down to 0. Now it's got a left bound. Left bound means you get to the left of where you want to be. Now, the calculator is partially covered up by numbers here, but you see my white cursor up here? Isn't that about where you want to be? So get that cursor to its left. If you don't know the difference between left and right, I can't help you. You don't have to get close. I just put my cursor right there to the left. And then I'm going to press enter, because I think we did a maximum in class the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Enter. Now it says get to the right. Now you're going to have a little common sense here. You're going to smash through the ground and keep going down. What will the values of y be when that happens? Negative. So we're going to just hold that right button down until we see negative y values. And I see one. Mine says y is negative 10. Yours might say negative 40. Who cares? Just hold that right button down after you pressed enter that first time until you see negative y values. That's fine. Press enter. And then what do you do for the guess? Enter. You got the same time? Do I need to go through this again, Grant? I need all of your attention, kids. I need everybody your attention. I ain't teaching a room full of ADD kids. I'm going to have to quit out to restart this properly, otherwise the cursors will be in wrong spots, I think. Y equal, graph. Second trace what? 2 if we're using a 0 function. See, my cursor's already in a bad spot. But it's asking, it says right down here in the corner, give me a left boundary. That means you get your cursor to the left of a 0. Grant, you said you need me to go through this again. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
What does your calculator say right now? Is it saying left bound, right bound? What's it want you to do?
It says left down.
So get your cursor to the left of that 0. And then press enter. What's it asking for now?
Right down.
So again, you're going to smash, to be on the right of that 0, you got to smash to the ground. When you smash to the ground, what's the value of y? Negative. So once you get a negative y, press enter. And then you guess by pressing enter. Did you get 16.02 seconds?
Yeah.
That's the last time I'm going through that, kids. That's an alternate way of doing it. All right, let's add up another question here. We can do that with a TI-84 if the graph is on the screen. 3. Find height after 3 seconds. What we're going to do is we're going to use the value function. Maybe you saw it. Some kids remember about everything they see. But under second trace, the first thing that's highlighted there is value. That means give it an X number, and guess what it returns? It returns a Y. Again, you're playing with your nails, man. Are you here?
You can go on one hand, 3, isn't it?
Yep. $630 feet in the air. So we told you that H of 3 is 630. All right.
Just replace 3 with X.
Y'all still don't get function notation, do you? That's saying the time was 3 seconds. Everywhere you saw a T, you put a 3 in. But we're using a TI to do it. We ain't got to do that.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Put 3 in there and it gave me the X value is 3 and the Y value equals 0.
What did you do, Grant?
I don't know.
Where did you put a 3 in at?
Second trace
Okay.
value. And I type it 3 and press enter.
And what did it say y was?
Or it said Y was 0.
Oh. You did not do what you said you did. See, you never cleared out 101 like I did 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
You had to clear out Y1 for that to work. That's why we cleared it out, son. So we're somewhere else. Wasting my time and yours. All right. At what time is the squirrel at max height? And what is max height? Notice the word max?
How high it goes.
Means a vertex in this case. And did you already do it? How'd you do it in your calculator? Trace don't work. Trace don't work. Trace is a guess. If you go look under second calc, what was the function you saw? Maximum. It's right there. You want to know a max height or something, you want to know a max, you use maximum. We use the maximum function. This works a lot like the zero function. So again, second, trace. Maximum is 4. Pressing enter. What's it asking for? You look at your calculator, what's it asking for? Because a couple of y'all not typing again. I can see it from here. You're just sitting there doing nothing. And it's my fault that you're not getting the same thing I am. It asked for a left bound, I pressed enter. It asked for a right bound. What'd you press? You went to the right and you pressed enter. Now it wants a guess. What do? Enter. Like, this ain't hard. So there's the squirrel's maximum height. And this one's actually one of those with kind of a rounding error. Like, it's not 8.00007. It's just 8. It's 8 seconds. If we did it by hand, it'd be 8 seconds all day long. What is the maximum height? Yeah, you said 2,000 something, didn't you? Oh. Well, I counted it wrong. Trace don't work. Use the maximum function. So it was 8 seconds, 1,030 feet. Now, the last thing we're going to do with this squirrel question is about intervals. Over what interval of time will the squirrel be above 200 feet? You don't set it equal to. You actually say that the equation itself, of course, we do have less than equal signs on a calculator, but they lead to confusion. We're saying that the parabola is greater than 200. This is the parabola. This is just a line. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put into y1 the 200. We're going to put into y2 the thing that's already in y2, negative 16t to the second, plus 256t. Will you stop? plus 6, which you've already got that in Y2, don't you? All right, so now going to Y1, putting in a 200, hitting graph. You should have something that looks like that on your screen. That line is literally y equals 200. That's that horizontal line that you expect to be drawn. You care about this little path right here. Because that's where you're above 200, isn't it? We need to figure out those times, those intersections. There's 2 of them. Because we're going to be between those 2 times. So how do we pull up the intersect feature? Second trace, 5. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get our cursor close. I talked about this, I think I did this with y'all the other day. Maybe not. But you'll have a little blinky dude. Get him close to one intersection. Closer to one than the other. That's all that matters. Just get him in the neighborhood. Once you're in the neighborhood, we're going to press enter 3 times. So I didn't even get mine too terribly close. It's not on the money at all. We're all going to get the same answer. Enter, enter, enter. There's a time, about 0.80 seconds. If you round it to the 100th, it's 0.80 seconds. You guys find end time? Second count. Intersect again and get that cursor close to the other one. See if everybody else knows seconds, because some of us are not even doing anything. You already got it? Okay, sorry, Rowan. Brad, you got an answer? Did you find the other intersection? No? Did you stop there? Ty, did you find it? Huh? What'd you get? 1500, rounded to 100. 1, 2. What's after the 2? What's after the 0? Okay. Here's one of these easy things. Some of y'all, again, just sitting there. As inequality. Time is trapped between those 2 things, isn't it? It stands for time. 0.80. 15.20. Of course, I asked for interval, which means I literally want you to write it in interval notation. What's that thing look like as interval? Parentheses. Thank you. It goes into parentheses. 0.
Why is that bracket?
Bracket is a quality. That was above. Above doesn't mean equal. You know, if you say somebody is above you, that means you're not their equal. All right, that took way too long. We're going to do one more problem. Be careful about these because I got to have answers. Negative 1/2. That's a fraction, so I'll wrap it in parentheses. That is negative 1/2 x squared plus 3x plus 40 equal to 1/3 absolute value x minus 2 minus 20. We're going to solve that thing for x with a TI-84 and graphs. And it's not that hard. What are you going to put in y1? What are you going to put in y1?
Negative 1/2
Plus 3x. What are you going to put in y2? Here's the thing, your calculator doesn't have absolute value bars. Yeah, you're going to find a function called ABS. I know, but literally I want you to write down ABS. You're going to find a function called ABS. Write this down. 1/3 ABS. What goes in those absolute value bars? X minus 2. Minus what? Now, the reason I'm writing this down is because if you were in my point of view and you watch kids type stuff in, like once they have to open up a whole nother function, just everything goes wrong. They throw everything in absolute value bars. Doesn't matter if it was in there or not. It gets thrown in there. The 1/3 gets thrown in there. The 20 gets thrown in there. I don't understand it either, Christina, but you're good at math. Okay? That's why I'm writing it out like this. This is what you're typing in your TI-84. You're not actually typing ABS, but you're going to pull up a function called ABS. Anyways, let's go and start typing stuff in. So I'm going to Y1. Clear out what I got. Negative 1/2. That doesn't have to be in a set of parentheses. It's just safe practice. I'll give you all a few seconds to catch up. I just typed in what I wrote down on Y1 there. Here comes Y2, parentheses 1/3. Sean, where'd you find that absolute value function? Yeah, that's right. So we're going to go to math, over to num, which is what math does to you anyways. And it's the first thing, again, for those of you guys waking and baking. Math, num, it's the first thing highlight. You don't know what wake and bake means? Okay. Of course you do.
I don't know if you said that.
What'd you say?
So everybody got ABS highlighted? It was under math and UM. It's the first thing there. Press enter. What goes in there and what is the only thing that goes in there? Your calculator, some of the calculators will actually show the absolute value bars. An older one will not. It'll just have ABS. Some of them show up. Now on this one I have to arrow out. You may or may not have to on yours. I don't know. If yours just says ABS with an open parentheses, you got to close the parentheses. Anybody say ABS with parentheses? You have to close the parentheses. Okay? This one says arrow out. And then I got my minus 20. Now, we don't want to look at our last window. That thing was 3,000, 2,000 units in the air and 25 units right, wasn't it? How do you restore the window? Zoom 6. Always start fresh with the Zoom 6. And that's what you see. Not much. So use some of the stuff you know. What you got, Sean?
We going through it. I got the minimum for X is -30. The X max is 100. The Y min is -60 and Y max 80.
You really needed that much? That's kind of surprising. I'm going to look up. I don't think you needed all that information. I'm going to look up a parabola's highest point is going to be at 40. How do I know the highest parabola's highest point's at 40? Does this parabola open up or down? Down. What's its y-intercept? 40. So I'm going to set a y max to 50. Now I'm going to look down at the absolute value guy. That's a v, by the way. Crosses the y-axis where? Does it open up or down? Opens up. So the y min only needs to be like negative 25, and it's going to be covered. There is some thoughts you can put in this stuff, or you can just guess and check. I'm really curious that you had to go that far out on the x values, though. Now, granted, I just made this problem up. We see one intersection. But think about this. This is an upside down u and a v. How many intersections will there be? 2. We are going to have to look to the right. What was your right max value?
I had 100, but I'm not sure.
I'm going to try 25. Now we did this section with lines. Remember we graphed lines and we found our intersections and that was our answers? That's what we're going to do right here. Solutions happen when things do what? Intersect. So guess what function we get to use? Second calc intersect, second calc 5. Which one do you want to get first, the left one or the right one? Left one?
Yeah.
That means you hold your cursor till you get closer to that one and the other one. See where I stopped my cursor?
Yes.
Is it closer to the left intersection than the right intersection?
Yes.
How many times you press enter? 3. Don't sit there and try and figure out what it is. Just let the calculator do that. All right, so we got negative 8.06. Don't care about the y value. It said solve for x. Negative 8.06. Hopefully that's what you guys are getting. No?
On my calculator, not the second Y2, it's not showing up.
I'm showing
Like
up
the
the
V,
first.
it's not.